Hi, Misha here, and it's time to look at the ships of the Ferengi Alliance. And this, folks, is how you do an alien race right, like on the second or third try. As is pretty well known, initially the Ferengi were to be the big bad, or at least one of them, of Next Generation. And in the first episode, they tried to kind of make them a legitimate threat, but they didn't work out, so they reintroduced the Romulans, and there we go. Then they tried to make the Ferengi kind of a comical, more mundane threat, which worked pretty well. But then they really gave them depth in Deep Space Nine with Quark and all of that. Still mostly played for laughs, but, you know, there was some serious notes to the Ferengi. There's only 2 Ferengi ships in the Eagle Moss collection, and really, only a couple of Ferengi ships have ever been seen in Star Trek. On the left here, we have Ulysses' ship from Enterprise, the one time we saw the Ferengi in the episode Acquisition. On the right, we have the ubiquitous Ferengi ship, the Marauder, or Decora class. And in the middle, I brought out the smuggler's ship, or the pirate ship from Next Generation Unification. Well, Ulysses' ship here. Very clearly a Ferengi ship, based on the pincers and coloration, and also kind of flat bottom. It's not terribly big. It's about 55 meters. So roughly a quarter the size of the NX-01 Enterprise. But not a tiny ship. At 55 meters, we're more than double the length of, say, like a runabout or something. Pretty flat. In that episode, it has a crew of 4. We don't really know if it's standard. It was a pirate kind of raider type ship. We don't know about armaments. It probably did not have shielding, but since it was so far away from Ferenginar in that episode, we can assume it had warp. And pretty reasonably high warp at that. And that's it. And the episode's really not about the ship, it's about them tricking Enterprise, kind of sabotaging it and trying to steal. And we know that they've done it to other vessels. So they're pirates, they're outlaws. The Eagle Moss model? Well, first off, it's nice to have another Ferengi ship, and a relatively prominent one in the episode. The top is metal. Bottom is polymer. Can't say it's a super exciting design, but that's not Eagle Moss's fault. They just made what was given. It's a very average model all around, and that's not to say a bad one. Just average. But again, it's nice to have a Ferengi ship. Let me see if I can put it on the stand one-handed. Kind of sits loose. Mine doesn't slip off on its own, but it sits kind of high, so it likes to come off pretty easily. As for the Marauder, the Decora, this appeared in the first season of Next Generation, the episode The Last Outpost. We actually see it from the rear because it stole an energy converter from a Federation automated station. It's said to be, technology-wise, equivalent to Federation, more or less. It's about 366 meters. So, a good bit larger than, say, the original Enterprise. But less than 2/3 the size of the Galaxy class. Pretty thick, though. We know it has a crew of 450, or thereabouts, or can. Decora class and the type, like Klingons have battle cruisers and Romulans have warbirds, well, the Ferengi have Marauders. And they seem to be configured several different ways. And these are definitely ships of the Ferengi Alliance, but it seems like individual captains or daemons can crew them and set them up how they wish. Some are set up as freighters or cargo ships or armored transports. Others are set up more as explorers or patrol ships or surveying ships. And still others are set up more as combat ships, warships. But not many, because the Ferengi aren't too much into warfare, they're into commerce. To that end, we've seen several weapons on board. There is a EM pulse, electromagnetic, we see. Also, a torpedo launcher and a missile launcher, as well as a directed energy weapon. We know it has shields, and it's capable of warp speed, at least warp 9. It has an auxiliary craft, kind of like a captain's yacht on the bottom, and shuttle pods, as we see them lost in the Delta Quadrant. Also, this neck can be extended. So it's a kind of customizable, configurable ship, capable of combat, commerce, cargo, so on and so forth. Obviously, I knew what this one looked like before the Eagle Moss, because there were our older models from back in the day. But it's one worth getting, just because, yeah, it's kind of neat to have. It's a very iconic ship from Next Generation. Much like Ulysses' ship there, the top is metal, with the bottom polymer. It's a reasonably good size. One thing that was interesting to me, I assumed that we saw Ferengi Marauders in Deep Space Nine, because the Ferengi were such a pivotal species in that series. But in reality, we did not. We saw Quark's ship and some other shuttle pods. But no Decorah class Marauders. Although Marauders were mentioned by name, these appeared exclusively in Next Generation and also had a couple of appearances in Voyager. I just found that was kind of odd. It's definitely a unique ship. Gave the Ferengi kind of their own thing. Hey, at least it's not green. With all the green ships for Klingon and Romulan, I think we've got enough of those. And finally, I thought I'd bring out the Smuggler ship again, because I like it, and because it was in unification along with a fat Ferengi. So it had business dealings with Ferengi. And hey, it might have been Ferengi, or at least owned by them, or operated by them. I think this one really is cool to me personally, because it's, to you guys, just all black and, you know, that. But so, since there's not a lot of paint, you know, looking detail, all the detail in this ship is physical, which is neat to me. This is a redress or reuse of the Husnock ship from Season 3, which has appeared in many other guises. Kind of has the Star Destroyer-esque hull. Probably most famously was the Bajoran / Cardassian cargo transport ship later on. It has the wings you see. It has 3 large phaser cannons on top and 1 on the bottom. These cannons are actually quite powerful. They're able to, one hit from them was able to wallop a Galaxy class pretty good, taking its shields down 15-20%. The ship's quite large too, nearly as big as the Galaxy, about 500 meters. It was a smuggler pirate ship and a weapons merchant. And that kind of enlied its problem when the Enterprise shot at it. The phaser blast set off a chain reaction, the cargo holds ignited, and ultimately the whole ship blew up. So while it was pretty offensively stacked, at least when full, its defenses were not adequate. It needed better shielding and obviously better ways of insulating its potentially explosive cargo. But then again, since when are pirates known for, like, sticking with safety at the workplace guidelines, right, guys? But yeah, this is, I think, a neat model. Has a lot of character. And adds to the collection to have kind of some more obscure alien ships. And it's big. It's a very long. It's pretty flat, but a very long model. So I just thought I would include it with the Ferengi, because they definitely were involved in a lot of pirate activity. Why not? But yeah, really the Decorah Marauder was the main Ferengi Alliance ship. But have to mention the Ferengi. I'll say this about them. Very entertaining race. Very, very entertaining. Alrighty, folks. That's about it. Any questions or comments, please post them below. Feel free to donate any gold pressed platinum or whatever you like. This is Misha, and I'll catch you very soon next time.